Korea's economy marked an on-quarter rebound in the third quarter of this year, but the expansion fell short of the central bank's expectations. Our correspondent Moon Hye-ryeon has the latest numbers.
South Korea's economic growth in the third quarter of the year fell short of earlier forecasts on the back of weaker exports. Data released by the Bank of Korea on Thursday showed that the country's GDP grew by a modest 0.1% between July and September this year compared to the previous quarter, the same as preliminary data released in October. While this marked a rebound from the 0.2% contraction in the second quarter, the growth rate fell short of the central bank's earlier forecast in August of 0.5%. The country's GDP has seen fluctuations this year, with a 1.3% increase in the first quarter of the year, followed by the biggest decline seen since 2022. This comes as exports fell by 0.2% on quarter, spurred by a decline particularly in non-IT products such as vehicles and chemical goods. While this is 0.2 percentage points higher than the BOK's preliminary data, it's the first time since the fourth quarter of 2022 that exports have fallen quarter on quarter. That includes sluggish auto exports, with the central bank explaining the decline.
We mentioned strikes as a reason for stunted auto exports, and although strike actions stopped in October and November, strikes at auto parts companies as well as factory fires are contributing to continued slow growth.
Experts say that geopolitical risks as well as underlying structural issues are driving the slowdown in economic growth.
Even if we did not have the current difficulties, Korea's growth rate would be falling because of demographic problems as well as reduction in productivity and efficiency. But the current global circumstances, especially President Trump's threat of a trade war, is further lowering Korea's growth rate.
On a positive note, facility investment surged 6.5%, driven by investments in semiconductor manufacturing equipment and transportation equipment, including aircraft. Private spending, which had been a cause for concern, saw a 0.5% increase, with increases for electricity, gas and vehicles, as well as in services such as medical care and transportation. With stunted economic growth in the third quarter, the Bank of Korea revised its economic growth projections down for this year and next year in November, from 2.4% to 2.2% for 2024 and from 2.1% to 1.9% in 2025. Moon Hye-ryeon, 아리랑뉴스.